if I traded it all, if I gave it.
Welcome back, everyone. My next guest has not only been on my radio show before, he's now also was on my television show, which was, when did you air? Last weekend? The weekend before. 1st of September, I have with me Jim Hostler, and you're a reverse mortgage specialist. You've written a book, which I absolutely love, and we're going to talk a little bit about it. But what you wanted to start off today was, why do reverse mortgages have such a bad rap?
We'll start worse first. How's that?
Yeah.
You know, this is unique to the United States. We're not the only company or country that has reverse mortgages. In other countries, Canada, Australia, Germany, others, do sell them very successfully. People take advantage of them very happily take advantage of them. And in the United States, we've got this bad rap, it's bad vibe that goes with them. And the reason, I believe, is that if you think about a business, what do they want to do? They want to scale it, right? And so what's happened is you get people you know, like, and trust, the Fonz, and Tom Selleck, and they come out on TV. Now you've got 30 seconds, 60 seconds to make your case. Well, what are you going to do? You have a home, you're eating cat food, and they're going to shut off the water. So you need, some money, give me a call. It's been touted, it's been sold to the United States as a loan of last resort. And it is absolutely, I've got a copy of the legislation, that is absolutely what it was never designed to do. So we've got to overcome what do you want to call it?
The bad rap.
The bad rap. Mm-hmm. You've got to overcome that. It was always designed to be a financial planning tool. It was always designed to be a financial tool that manages risk. And that's how we need to look at it. So there's been tremendous changes in the last 10 years. And Solar Sandy, I love what she was saying. It's like, get educated. We got a theme going here. Get educated on reverse mortgages. Because prior to 2008, there was reverse mortgages. In fact, they're about 30 years old. Since 2008, it's called a HECM, Home Equity Conversion Mortgage. So in the past, like MetLife sold them, Wells Fargo sold them, and everybody kind of had their little nuance about, what was unique to them. Now, up to about $800,000, they're all the same loan. So it's like you're getting the same thing. So if I have a realtor selling a house that said, well, back in 2000, they got a reverse mortgage, tell me more. And I'm like, show me the reverse mortgage. I don't know. Because it was, who knows what it was. There's so many variables. Now, going forward, they've been standardized, called a HECM, Home Equity Conversion Mortgage. Take the name right there. You're taking some equity out of your home, and do you need to pay off a mortgage? That's got to be your first stop. Beyond that, oh my gosh, you got 5 ways to cash. You could get an income for life. Pinnacle example of the next one is, person turns 62. Chances are a financial advisor is not going to recommend taking Social Security. If you can tap into your reverse mortgage, your home equity, and take an income, monthly income for 8 years, wait until you're 70, then maximize your Social Security and stop the reverse mortgage. That's number 3. Line of credit, I'm not even going to go into other than saying it's not a home equity, the HECM that we were so used to prior to the crash. It is nothing like that. In fact, if you go on my website, reversemortgage360.org, there's a resource page. You look there, and there's actually a PDF there you can print out showing the difference of those two. And then you can do a combination of the two. I'm working with a gentleman now who's paying off a small mortgage, putting some cash in the bank, and then he'll establish a line of credit for future needs.
Well, you've written this book. It's Reverse Mortgage 360. It's a new perspective, and I want people to. Can we give away some books?
Absolutely.
How many want to give away?
Up to 10. How's that?
Okay, so we've got 10 people that are going to get this book. Okay, and maybe it's you, maybe it's someone that you know, but I believe that everybody should listen up. Who is now? I was going to say of the age, but you were in here. I think you were talking. I remember what it was, but people don't realize that there's a lot of people that get married to people who are older. Mm-hmm. So you might be married to someone who fits in the category. So you might be listening to this. Maybe your husband or your wife is younger or older or whatever. This is for you too. Absolutely. And we're going to talk about that. But this book, we want to give it out to everyone. We've got 10 people that are going to win it. Tell them about the book, because it's not something that you're going to read from cover to cover. It's really not.
No.
Okay, go ahead.
Never intended that way. What it is like taking the key points of a reverse mortgage. My intention is put it into kind of layman's terms, because you could go to HUD.gov and go in there, and there's thousands of pages written from the federal government if you want to know more, but good luck staying awake after the first 15 minutes of reading that. It's pretty dry and it's pretty intense.
Right.
So what I did was I cut the book into, I think, about 24 chapters and took a segment of the reverse mortgage and just put it in the layman's terms to understand. So it's really more accurate, kind of a reference tool, than it is a book that you would read cover to cover.
Right.
It's a good
right.
point. Yeah.
So people that are going to look at it, you're going to find what works for you, what's interested that works for you, and that's what you're going to do. So we're going to open up the lines to the audience. Okay?
Wonderful.
Our number here is 602-277-5369, and toll free it's 1-866-536-1100. I don't care. If you think it's not right, get the book. It's perfect for someone who doesn't want to get one, right?
And I've been doing mortgages for over 25 years. In fact, next year will be 30 years. And up until 3 years ago, I never touched a reverse mortgage because I didn't think they were a good loan. Mm-hmm. And with the changes that have been made, I think they're a perfect loan for the right individual. And that's job one, is to educate the consumer, educate the homeowner. And to your point, if you're a couple,
right,
one has to be 62. The other one does not have to be. And that's called a non-borrowing spouse. And federal guidelines have changed. Their non-borrowing spouse is now very much protected. It used to be if the husband generally dies first, right, got the reverse mortgage, and he decides to check out, then the lender would have to go to the wife and say, sorry, you got to move or pay me. Well, that's not, what you want. So that's changed.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, and what else has changed? Well, not that it's always been, but people always think that they don't own their home. I think that's the one thing that keeps on in their mind, that they don't own their home anymore.
Correct. And that's an incorrect myth.
Right.
They do own the home, and it's exactly like a first mortgage. You have a first lien on the property. So in the event when you sell your home, when you die and you have to sell a home, when it's no longer your primary residence, it needs to be sold. There's a first mortgage on your lien. And there is no term. So we're so used to getting a 30-year term, right? And then you pay it off. You get a reverse mortgage, you're 62. God bless. If you keep it for 40 years, keep it as long as you want to.
And you can do whatever you want with it. It's just you have to be smart about how you're doing it. Is that correct?
Correct. It's a financial tool that you should use to leverage your risk, to manage your risk. It's a financial planning tool. That's what it needs to be used for.
Is it okay if I tell the story that we did on television?
Please.
Okay,
Yeah.
so my father, when his wife was alive, everything was fine, and then she passed, and he realized he didn't have enough money really to go on very far. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
And so he got a reverse mortgage. And I remember it all happened without, them talking to me. And I was thinking, oh my God, what's going to be, this and that. Well, guess what? It works perfect, because now he was in California, but it worked great. He had the money to do what he needed to do, whatever that was. We sold the house. That part was, whatever was paid off.
Yep.
And we still got the money. There was no hiccup in any way, shape, or form.
Awesome.
And this was now, I think it's almost 5-6 years ago now.
So he got it prior to 2008.
To this whole thing, and
Yeah.
it worked out just fine. So I'm telling that to people because what I want to say is it does work.
Yes.
They do work, and now they're even better than before, is what you're saying.
Yes.
Okay.
Seniors are the most protected class of Americans we have in the government. It's the most regulated mortgage we have. And to kind of expound on that, when your father retired, think about that. At that point, it wasn't uncommon. Well, our primary retirement paradigm now is what's created in the 1980s. What did you have back then? You had pension plans. You had retirement plans. You had 8% return on your money.
You got nothing now.
Yeah, right? You had health care costs that were not, a lot of times the employer would pick up the cost of your health care, and if you had a $50 or $100 deductible, everything else was covered. Housing costs have gone up. Back then, it was, rule of thumb, generally 25% of your income would go for your housing expense, your housing payment. Now it's at 33%, 35%. I've done them higher than that. So it's costing a lot more to live. And I just read an article this morning where the largest amount of home equity is now available in the United States. It's over $6 trillion. And when you take the cost of living, you take away 401ks, you take away pensions, and that equity is there, it makes sense to look at this as a financial planning tool to supplement your income, to pay off a mortgage.
And you do free consultations.
Absolutely.
And he's got the lines open here because he's giving away 10 of these books to people who call in. So our number here is 602-277-5369. Toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. I don't care if you think they're great or not. You should check out this book because it's a reference guide and you're going to see what the difference is between what they were and what they are now. You are an advocate. We're going to talk about that. We're live on Facebook. We're going to be sharing this show afterwards. So like us and follow us and check us out check him out on his website. It's Reverse Mortgage. What is it?
ReverseMortgage360.org.
There you go. Again, call in here and get the book at 602-277-5369.
If I traded it all,
Welcome back.
if I gave
Go ahead and get the calls. We're getting our callers. People are calling in to get this book because we're talking right now with Jim Hostler. He is a reverse mortgage specialist. He's an advocate. We're going to talk about that. We're live on Facebook. You guys get to follow us. We're going to talk about what his is so that you guys can hear about what he does on his Facebook pages. But right now, I want to open up the lines to the audience, continue for have people be able to call in, get this book. I don't care what you think about reverse mortgages. This is a reference guide. He is a specialist in it. He's been doing these things for, well, not these, but you've been in the mortgage industry for 30 years.
Mortgage profession, almost 30 years,
Yeah.
and then I've gone down the rabbit hole big time with reverse mortgages about 4 years ago.
So
is
4
when I
years
began.
ago, and he made it so it's understanding for you. That's what Solar Sandy does. That's what Jim does. So again, our number here is 602-277-5369. Toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. So go ahead. First of all, I know you want to talk about the Facebook, so we'll get it out so that we can talk about that. I want to talk about that real quickly. Go ahead.
I've got a Facebook page. It's Reverse Mortgage 360 on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
And in addition to reverse mortgages, I also try to get things that are relevant to seniors. I have parents back in Iowa that are aging, and so if I can see something that benefits the seniors, then I'll post it on the Facebook and also kind of segue into my website. There's a resource page there. And if you go there, there's also resources around Arizona that can help seniors as well. So,
well, we
both sides.
posted. You said you posted your television segment from that you were on with
Yeah.
me everywhere. You said how many hits did you get?
I boosted it for a week on Facebook, and I'm up, I think, over 5,000 now views.
Nice. And
That's
here's
awesome.
the thing. It's all about the information. That's what these shows are for. It's information for you. And he's an advocate for you guys out there. And he wants you to have all the information, arm you with information so that you guys can make the best decision.
Absolutely, and thanks for saying that, Carol, because one of the things about a reverse mortgage is it's a mortgage product, but it's, oh my gosh, it's so different than a forward mortgage. A forward mortgage is, what do? What's the lowest rate and how quickly can I close? The rest of it is minutia. So a reverse mortgage is a completely different way to look at a mortgage, and in fact, simple example, the lowest interest rate may not be in your best interest. So you really need to work with a professional, someone that's committed to knowing these things, studying these things, such that that person, myself, can sit down, act as a consultant, act as a trusted advisor, understand what your needs are, understand what your goals are, understand where you're at now, what you want to accomplish or what the issue is, and then structure it in a way that's best for you today. Now, best for you today, a year, 2, 5, 10 down the road may be completely different. So once you close on a reverse mortgage, you're not necessarily done. There may, if there's enough equity, be the opportunity to change it down the road. So as life shows up, this is a flexible product, or can be a flexible product, and can be tailor-made to what your needs are. So that's so critical to understand and know when you're working with someone like myself, a reverse mortgage specialist. That's who you need to work with.
And his phone number to call is 928-225-7418. You can also go on his website, which is reversemortgage360.org. But we've got our lines open here. He wants to give this book to 10 people. 10 winners are going to get it. And again, I am going to implore anybody, I don't care what you think about it, if you're married to someone, too, who is either younger or older, it works for you guys, too. So call in here, get the book. It's a reference guide. That's all it is. Gives you information on what They're totally different now. So the number here is 602-277-5369. Toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. And I'm going to let everyone call throughout the rest of the show for it. Okay, go ahead.
Wonderful. Oh, what do you want? You want to talk about something that's kind of fun to me? Is that there was a friend of mine in California that the couple did a reverse mortgage, and why did they do it? They were 70 years old. They wanted to enjoy retirement. They bought a $200,000 motor coach.
Okay, and they had fun.
Well, they had fun, but here's the fun part: can be very expensive, right? And not prudent when you're retired because you have less time to recapture the money you lost. But because the value of the appreciation of their home at 2%, which is very fair in today's market, the appreciation was greater than what the cost of that money was over a 10-year time period. So they could drive the motor coach for 10 years and still have more money available to them after they paid the interest on that $200,000, and they had 10 years of enjoying a motor coach.
The number to call here for the book, it's a reference guide. That's all it is. You're not going to read the whole thing. You're going to see why they have changed and why they work so well. The number here is 602-277-5369. Toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. We got to talk about something else too.
How about buying a home?
Buying a home.
As of 2009, and what was happening in 2009? Short sales and foreclosures. So a lot of people don't even know that you can purchase a home with a reverse mortgage. And the benefit to that, whether you're upsizing, you're making a lateral move, maybe you have a 2-story home and you want a ranch home because you're getting older, or you're downsizing, a good rule of thumb is that if you have a 60% or more down payment, a lot of people selling a home don't owe anything, so they're thinking they're going to buy cash. As you get older, what's the best thing to do? A fatter checkbook, more cash. So save some of that cash and instead use a reverse mortgage to purchase a home. Now that's the downsizing or lateral move, but the flip side of that is a lot of the seniors are upsizing. So say I'm from Iowa. I sold my house in Iowa for $200,000 and I come to Phoenix. Not going to get the biggest house in Phoenix, right? I could take that $200,000 and depending upon my age, buy a home for maybe 3.25 to 3.7 into threes. That's a lot nicer than a $200,000 home and not have a payment.
And I like that, not having a payment. That's what it's all about. I mean, and you don't have a payment on any of them, right?
No principal and interest payment. But here's the thing. You may make a payment. And one of the pinnacle stories of that is I have a client that is in a situation where he's done very well, but if him or the income he's getting, he sold a business, if either one of them pass away and they're in their 70s, that income stops. So what he's done is going to do is take that, get a reverse mortgage, and actually work in the next 10 years to pay it off.
There you go.
Now,
there's so many different ways.
Why would you do that? Number one is, God forbid, if he does a reverse mortgage and walks out in front of a bus, his wife, who's never had to work, God bless, but she never has to make a house payment. But now, if that 10-year time period, he wants to pay that off, what that does for him is now 74, 80, he's almost 90 years old. If at that point he passes away, he's left almost a $400,000 line of credit available to her, and there's never had to have been a house payment made on that.
And she
it's
has
available.
money to do what she needs to do.
She can, she's at that point in her mid-late 70s, and she wants to take a $375,000 line of credit and turn it into a monthly income for the rest of her life. It's a phone call away. It's guaranteed to happen.
He does free consultations. That number to call him is 928-225-7418. We've got our lines open here for everyone to get the book. We've got 10 of them we're giving away. Our number here is 602-277-5369. Toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. And the book is called Reverse Mortgage 360, A New Perspective. And they are totally different. Real quickly, I want to ask you too. Divorces.
Yes.
We've been talking a little bit about these other things. There's another thing. You could be going through the worst thing in your life, and maybe it's the best thing that you did. Go ahead.
Totally. Here's a fact. In the United States, on average, every 13 seconds, there's somebody getting or filing for a divorce. Now, of the demographics of people filing for a divorce, the largest demographic are seniors, 50 plus. So there are so many ways. Yeah. It's like I wake up and, I don't know, the kids are gone and I don't like you and you don't like me, so we're, whatever. So
I know.
But now, as again, financial planning tool. If one of the spouses is going to stay in that home and the other spouse is entitled to money, this could be a way to get some of that equity out of the home, pay off the spouse, settle the divorce settlement agreement, and then the spouse that's staying in the home is left with no more principal and interest payment.
It's amazing.
It's a tool. Again, it's a tool. Get educated.
That's what he does. And he's an advocate for you seniors out there, right?
Yes.
And in every way, not just with this.
No.
Because you want them to be armed with lots of information.
Absolutely. And it's like, mortgages, your forward 30-year mortgage was never designed to go into retirement when they first came out. Social Security, think about it. When that first came out in the 30s, you turned 65, you got it, the mail was dead at 67, 2 years later. So our retirement now, we should be planning for at least 30 years. And this is a new paradigm. And with so many people, 8,000 to 10,000 people a day retiring, entering 65, the baby boomers entering 65, there's so much, $6 trillion with a T, $6 trillion of equity tied up in homes, cost of living going up, pensions and 401ks going down. The reverse mortgage has to be an answer for so many more people than it is now. And the way that you get the right answer and do the right thing is through education.
And Jim, you did all the research. You made it easy for them to read. And now you don't even have to read the book all the way through. You just look at what works for you or what you're interested in or not. You should just check it out no matter what. The book is called Reverse Mortgage 360. It's a new perspective. The number to call here, we're going to give 10 of them away, is 602-277-5369, and toll free it's 1-866-536-1100. And everyone could call throughout the rest of the show for it. Your website, reversemortgage360.org. And
yes.
You help people in all of Arizona. As a matter of fact, where else?
And California. Licensed in Arizona and California.
And let me just tell you something. He does free consultations, too, and he said you're a phone call away for certain things that will happen immediately. Again, that number to call him direct, it's 928-225-7418. Call in here. We've got 10 of them we're giving away. I know we're getting lots of calls. Our number here, 602-277-5369.